Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate everybody for watching and checking it out. Got something a little bit different for you today. It's green. I've never worked on one of these, but just turning wrenches, bolts, nuts, normal stuff. So far, I'm not impressed with the mechanics of it. Just I guess with the design, wasn't really. I guess the end mechanic wasn't really thought about here. I don't know. That's here or there. It is what it is. It's not as hard as working on a vehicle yet, but they were definitely headed the right direction. Let's put it that way. So this tractor has got a cracked head. The story is the guy that owned it previously sent it to John Deere dealership. They took the head off. Seen that it had a cracked head. The guy didn't want to pay for them to fix the head, put a new head on it, whatever. Had him put new gaskets on it, put it back together, and got the tractor back. So then he's driving it down the road, just out on a joyride, I guess. The way it sounded, joyride. And it just died on him. And he had a neighbor tow him back to the farm, and they're set for I don't know how long. So the whole dying thing, kind of gets you a little curious to begin with. Why did it die? And well, the gauge up here reads about 3/8 of a tank. This gauge here is all the way pinned down on empty. So guessing that gauge up there went bad, and the old man, he just ran out of fuel and didn't know it, I think. So I think that's why I quit running. Seen that when I took the distributor cap off, it was pretty corroded and nasty. I mean, that may have had something to do with it, but I had a feeling it's just out of propane. Yeah, so anyway, I just got a few things taken off here, alternator, or generator rather, coil, distributor cap, valve cover, this thing that's just kind of mounted right here, an odd spot for it, but I guess it works. Then I got the fluid drained out of it, the antifreeze drained out of it, and I'm getting ready to move over to the other side. I'm going to take this off yet. Move over to the other side, bring you over there, and talk about that a little bit. All in all, it's pretty straightforward. There's just everything that's on the side of this engine needs to be taken off. You guys know I'm used to the orange ones, and there's a little bit more that you got to take off, comparatively speaking. And some of the stuff's a little bit harder to get to, so it is what it is. We'll get her going, and next few days here we'll have this bugger running. I guess if I really worked on it, I could have it back together by tomorrow, but got a few other things to do, so that's not gonna happen that fast. However, got the fluid drained out of this. Just gotta start taking everything off and take off there. Water pump, I haven't decided what I'm gonna do there yet. If I kind of think about taking the shroud off, but then that looks like kind of a pain. I don't know. I'll probably try to wiggle it out with the water pump on it. I feel like it might be a little bit easier. We'll see when I get to that if it looks like there's enough room. So yeah, basically I'm just going to be wrenching on stuff here. I don't think you guys need to see that. It's literally just taking bolts out, and I'll bring you back after this thing's apart. Got her down to this point, just ready to loosen the head bolts up, take the head off of it. What I did here in the front, I just got one bolt holding this right now. I took the shroud off, pulled it forward just so that I could take the fan off, and reason being is I plan on lifting this off of here by hand, and I kind of wanted that as a handle. I think that'll work out good. And then this side over here has got a nice, like, it almost feels like a handle right there. So that's why I did that. And then it's just one less thing to finagle around that fan blade. Then when I get this out, then I can just impact that off and bolt it onto the other head, and off we go. So it only took me, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half. Then I had a buddy stop by and was kind of BSing with him a little bit. So, not too bad of a job. Like I said, more than what I'm used to, but not bad. So I'm gonna take that head off of there. I'll bring you back and see if we see where the crack is. All right, got the head off there. Now let's see if I can set the light. You can see the crack right there, and you can see the water and everything. And when I took the spark plug out, you could see that that was the problem. Cylinders don't look bad. Clean them up a little bit. Get the yellow jacket out of there. I think we'll be in business here. So that head came with valves in it, so I'm going to check them valves. That head in that box right there. See what's going on in there. If we got to change anything or lap anything, we'll see. Clean that head up a little bit. I'll bring you guys back for putting it back on there, or what I figure out with the valves. We had a big ice storm just last night and into today, and we've been very fortunate as far as electricity and everything, but there's a lot of people without electricity. But just wanted to show you guys the beauty in it all. Just everything is crystalled up like that. All the trees, it's really pretty. Put it that way. You can see it's just, everything has got a shimmer to it. You gotta enjoy the good and everything, even in the bad. Okay, this is where I am at. A couple days later, I went down and had the valves redone on the head and got a little bit of footage of friend Matt. He got a B, hasn't run in over 30 years, and we pull started it, and I'll play that clip for you here.
And the cold.
All right. It's alive! Kinda. Just a matter of getting things adjusted here, hopefully. Or not. 3 more pulls and a couple of adjustings later. Adjustment. There it is. Hasn't run in 30 years. Sounds good. good, but you can smell all of that old oil wearing off of her. Been a few years. Here you can feel it in your chest. For a bee, it's kind of impressive. But anyhow, this is where I'm at. Head's cleaned up, valves back in, water pump is on this head. Everything seemed good and tight on that, nothing wore out inside. This head had a little pitting in it, and so you can see I used a little bit of the right stuff there. Got this all cleaned out, them clean with light oil on them, and I got the head gasket on here. Everything is clean. Ran my tap down through there and brake clean and air and all that fun stuff. So it is ready to slap back on here. All I need to do is look online and find specs for the head bolts, because I don't have a book for this tractor. And then I need to clean up the valve train and everything, and figure out the specs on those too. Might be important. Something important to know. So I'm gonna look that stuff up. I'm gonna set that head on there. You guys probably don't need to see me tighten it down. I'm gonna look at John Deere has got a funny torque down sequence for these, and I'm sure it's to do with how you got head bolts out. I don't know, it's weird, or however the hell it is. But anyhow, yeah, out here, looking real life instead of the phone. But anyway, I'm sure that has something to do with it. It's a really funny torque down sequence, so I'm gonna actually look that up. Yeah, I guess we'll go from there. Well, here we are a couple days after the live stream. I got a couple of things wrapped up on this end. Just basically the intake, manifold bolted on, everything tightened up, bolted up. Everything is on over here. A couple of little things to tie up once I get the other side done. Let me flip. I did rack the valves. I figured I talked about that a little bit. The exhaust on these are 28 and the intake is 15. Pretty big gap, but that is what the book says. Just like any other engine, how to rack it. Get it on the compression stroke. See, I got the spark plugs out so that I can see the cylinders once they get to the top of the stroke. Spin the crank over, and then you're going to have two that are loose. And you'll have this one, skip one, this one, telling me that this cylinder's on the compression stroke. We work our way that way. See, these are tight, tight, and here. So Just turn this over, turn the engine over till you get back to the top, and then this one's going to be on the compression stroke, and then you can set these. Like I said, 28 exhaust, 15 intake. So 15 intake, 28 exhaust. Or, sorry, 15 intake, 28 exhaust. I was looking at it through the camera and got screwed up there. So that's where I'm at here. It's pretty straightforward. After this, just figured I'd touch base on this. These are 55 foot-pounds. If you guys want a more in-depth on how to rack an engine, I'll put a description below. It's an Alice Chalmers C, but the concept is identical, as long as you know what's your exhaust and intake, which, if you know, you can just look out there, coincide with the exhaust manifold or the intake manifold, you know. So I'm just gonna keep plucking away at this. A bunch of simple stuff left to do, just popping stuff together, really. Most involved thing that I have left is putting the cover on, and yeah, I'll bring you back once I get a few more pieces on here, if I find something that I think is worth talking about. Everything is back together, back to where it was when I got it, minus a cracked head, of course, and the tin work. So now I'm just trying to diagnose why it won't run. Ted Bisker put the point that when these run out of fuel, they don't just die. They slowly run out of power until they quit running. And it makes a lot of sense. Like barbecue grill, your flame doesn't just stop. It you know, gradually gets smaller until it runs out of fuel. So that made a lot of sense to me. So I'm kind of beyond thinking that it was out of LP, and I know that now because when I turn this on, vapors, you can hear the hiss of it getting fuel. So I'm going off of memory here of what people have told me, and a little bit of memory of chemistry 101. But you've got a you have a vapor valve and a liquid valve. We're going to start it off with a vapor valve. The reason I'm confident about that, so the liquid valve, once you get it warmed up and you've got antifreeze running through your converter over here, that's when you turn the liquid out, and then it converts into vapors using the heat. Now propane vaporizes something like -40 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in that ballpark. That's why it works good in refrigerant systems. But anyway, that's why you know, another reason you need the heat. The way things don't freeze up when using your liquid. And then, if you'll notice, these are separate, and I didn't think about this until a little bit ago, but this is already mixed. It's already heated and mixed to the optimal temperature, so you don't need these together any longer for the heat transfer, like a gasoline engine. Kind of interesting. So I'm guessing that this button used to be the starter button. It's not on here. Now I've seen some LPs where the guys start them and they hit a button, but then there's no choke. So I'm guessing that that button that I was seeing on them other LPs is like an electronic choke solenoid, I'm guessing. So anyway, ignition is here now. As you can see, it's all wired in there, and that button is unhooked. So I guess all I really have left is to try it. I got the battery charger on it over here, not because it's dead, but it's been sitting for a while and wanted to get them charged up so I wasn't overstressing them, because seem to be good batteries, and I'd like to keep them good batteries for whoever buys this thing. So we got the snap-on on there. See that? I'm bragging about my snap-on. Look at that. Got that at a garage sale for, I don't know if I paid 50 bucks for it. I don't think I did. I think it was $45. And it works like it's brand new. So anyhow, quit blabbing. I'll get up here and try to start it, see what happens. First time that I have tried starting it, I turned it over when we got it, but I didn't put any fuel to it when I did it. So I know that it does turn over and everything. So yeah, I'll crawl up there and start recording. I've got the battery charger off, just because. Got I think everything figured out. About, I'm gonna say 85% sure that it's in park right there. Yeah, I noticed this here, pull knob to override stop. Not exactly sure what that does. I don't really know what that does. If it's something to do with a shut off or anyway, figure that out after it's running. There, when I turn that on, I hear my solenoid clicking there. So that solenoid, I'm not sure, but I'm about positive that it is a on and off solenoid. Just gonna turn the gas off when you turn the key off. Pretty smart, really. So yeah, it clicked. We got a hiss. There's fuel. And all that's left is to turn it over. See what happens. Nothing. Choke. Oh, hey. Okay. Unchoke it the rest of the way. Okay, so unchoked, it doesn't want to do anything. Alright, I gotta set you guys down here. I don't have my stand. Just gonna set you right here. Hopefully, I want to be able to work this choke. What's going on here? Huh. Boy, it almost wants to run. Come on now. Stay alive, girl. It's like half choked right now, so I don't. Yeah, when I unchoke it, then it dies. Batteries are good though, huh? Something isn't right. I'm just cranking it over for no reason, aren't I? Huh. Alright, I'm going to try this one more time. So I've let it run for a while here, warm up, and it's running off of liquid now. And it's running better. It will idle without the choke now. As you can hear, not quite right. I messed with the adjustments on the carburetor, does not seem to do a thing for this problem anyway. So kind of back to the drawing board. We just give it a little bit there, fine. But then, okay, check this out. Alternator works. Yeah, but then when she idles down, yeah. Kind of an odd thing. Not enough fuel at idle and too much fuel at high idle. Or the right amount of fuel at high idle, I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to think about this for a little bit. I'll bring you back. Where I'm at right now, first of all, these are still the old plugs. I have been meaning to put new plugs in it. I just keep forgetting to get them when I'm in town. So anyway, I want to put new plugs in it to see how it runs. Obviously, you got old plugs. That's the first place to go, right? And then I got curious what was inside of this thing here exactly. And I found a diagram, and it looks like there are diaphragms in there. At least one diaphragm. And the way that this is acting, it's different than any issue that I've had with a gas engine before. So it made me, you know, alright, so what's different here? When it's idling, I have to half choke it, and then when I open it up, start giving it throttle, I have to turn the choke off and it runs great. So it's not getting enough fuel at idle, and it's getting more fuel at high idle when there's more vacuum, right? So at low idle, if there's a hole in the diaphragm in there, it could be not creating enough vacuum to give it enough fuel, right? I think I'm right. That's my theory. Took a video on how it's running, sent it to a buddy of mine that knows he knows way more than I do when it comes to propane. So just kind of sent him a video, show him what I'm running and the symptoms that it was having, and we'll see what he says before I dig into this. And like I said, I'm going to go get new plugs and put on it. I did test the electrical system, make sure I was getting the right voltage over here. Everything was good. The charging system was working, so everything is good on that end. New wires on there. I cleaned the rotor up. It didn't look bad once it got cleaned up, and like I said, I got to put new plugs in it, so that'll be my next step. And by the time I get back here with plugs and get those in, I will have heard back from a buddy of mine, and we'll see how it runs with the new plugs, and I'll continue with his suggestion, whatever he suggests. Well, after thinking about this for a while, I think I'm going to take this off. I'm going to get it apart. I'll explain my reasoning and why I think that it's that. Well, what I found in here, all of the diaphragms, seals and everything are good. This one there's no holes, held it up to the light, seems to be in good shape. The seal here was in good shape. This little diaphragm thingy is in good shape. It's dirty, I'm going to clean it up. What I did find is when I took this out, which runs right in there, that's the input for your fuel, and then okay, so I'm going to explain this the way that I understand it just looking at it here. I may be wrong, correct me in the comments if I am, and I will I'll tag it for anybody that's trying to learn something. So you got vacuum coming from the carburetor right here, which in turn gets that thing doing its floopies, what else you would call it, suction, which then that pin rides on there, which opens up the other side, and you got like a maze where the fuel runs inside of there, along with the antifreeze separate from itself. But when this opens, then it's going to create vacuum on this, causing this to open and close. Yeah, so this was pretty well stuck. Guess it would make sense at idle. Needed a little bit more vacuum from the well, it's not called a choke, he told me what it was called. Anyhow, from that thing, enricher, there we go. So it's going to get more vacuum. Then once it's opened up, obviously you're going to get more vacuum, and I had to shut the choke off. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to put this thing back together. Well, I'm going to clean it up first, then I'm going to put it back together, put it on the tractor, and see what happens. We'll bring you back shortly. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't remember that light coming on before. It is now. Anyhow, it's just gonna start right up and run, right? Actually, well, it definitely started easier and better. That was with no choke. So something there. Different. Still not quite right though. Let me get down here and play with the carb a little bit. There we go. Full idle. Be a little bit more adjusting on the carb. But this time the carb adjustments actually did something. This one here especially. So I'm going to say that was the main issue. Like I said before, once I was changing stuff, nothing was happening. Saying that something wasn't right before we got there. More, gunked up in there. And, after talking to Matt about it, You know, he said it could be gunked up somewhere. Oh, the diaphragm probably. So I just dug right into that thing, and luckily I didn't need to buy any parts, so that's cool. And we got it running good. As you can see there, choke is all the way in. Nice and responsive. It hasn't warmed up all the way. That's still running on vapor. Probably real close to being able to switch it over to liquid actually. Alright. Everything's circulating there. Oh yeah. So, I guess I gotta get that thing out of the way and take her for a little drive, right? That's the next and final step before I put the tin work on it. Oh shoot, no, I need to retorque the head bolts and then re-rack it because I gotta take the valve train off for all that fun stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna drive it a little bit, bring it back, I'm gonna re-rack it, get tin work on it. You guys don't need to see all that. Bring it back when I'm done. There it is, all back together. Guess one last thing to do would be to get up on it and start it again, right? Okay. I don't know what the process is, but all right. Valve, key, it's in park. Let's see what happens. I'd say I did it. It's ready to go down the road. If anybody is interested in this, the person that I fixed it for, oh, I'm stuck. Oh, gosh. Every time I get off of this tractor, I get stuck on that darn thing. Anyway, person that owns the tractor is selling it. He's a red guy. Asking price is $5,500. From what we've looked up and have talked to people, it's pretty fair actually. The tires aren't perfect by any means. This one's got some pretty good dry rotting on it, but there's tread left on it. This one over here doesn't have as much dry rot, but there's not much tread on it. That's a brand new roll cage. It moves and everything. We actually, we put it down so that it wasn't too high on the trailer. Lift arms worked, the PTO worked, the hydraulics. I haven't had anything hooked up to it, but I was told they work. The way that works, power steering is flawless. Everything works. I'll have a walk around video. I didn't mean to be talking about this like this again. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end the video. If you're interested in it, keep an eye out. I'll have a walk around, talk about it, and take it for a drive, cold start. This was a warm start. So yeah, that's where we'll end the video. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Continued support on the channel has been excellent. All the new subscribers, thank you much. If you watched this video and you liked it and you're not subscribed, consider doing so, if I could talk. It really helps out, and hope to catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.